Enough people here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Maybe we'll get out of here by 6:30. Okay, the first item is the agenda approval.
I move we approve the agenda. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 2, approval of minutes, September 15th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from September 15th, 2025.
Second? Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All three of us second.
3 seconds.
Yes, for a second. Number 3, text amendment, TX 25.10.01, fence and pool ordinance update. Staff requests an update in Article 2.13-2 of the Stallings zoning ordinance to clarify fence height and placement standards and define requirements for screening and fence materials, and also including the statement of consistency and reasonableness.
Hello.
Okay, so for text amendment TX 251001, a little background of this amendment. The planning department, we've recently received an increased number of accessory structure permits for fences, and during review for those, residents and contractors have expressed confusion about the way we wrote some of Article 2.13-2. So this amendment just clarifies and rewrites, or just clarifies some of the language within the Article 2.13-2. So the amendment, we've changed some of the lettering around. So B is just, we've already had this written in, we just made it its own letter so it can be referenced with the rest of them. Same with C. For D, I've added a diagram that just shows where the fence should not exceed 5 feet, just to clarify. For E, I've just changed may to shall, changed some of the sub-lettering with A. For F, we've clarified corner lots and the fence height in corner lots, because that's also been a large confusion for some people, stating that in a residential or mixed-use district, a fence or wall in an established front or side yard that abuts a street or alley on a corner lot shall be a maximum of 5 feet in height. So this was already in the ordinance, we just gave it its own letter so it's a little bit more clear. For G and H, we just had some word changes to make it more consistent throughout the rest of the ordinance. And I was just a letter change as well. So staff recommends approval based on reorganizing and clarifying Article 2.13-2 will make fencing standards easier to understand and apply for residents and staff, and refining height, placement, and screening requirements will improve consistency and enforceability, especially for corner lots and fences abutting streets or alleys.
Rach, can you give us an example of where a homeowner or developer ran into confusion with the way it was previously written?
Yeah, so where you see the 2 new diagrams that we've added, those were just confusions because there was a little bit of, it was kind of left up for interpretation between what constitutes the front and side yard when the principal structure is right there. So we've made it, the language already included this, but that line that's parallel to the front, nothing in front of that line can exceed 5 feet. So we've had some people wanting to put fences here, like along this property line, or in front here, and those wouldn't be able to exceed 5 feet. But if you were to put it sideways like here, that could go over 5 feet to 6 feet. And then for the corner lot as well, we had some confusion because, they were reading it as, since it's on the side of the house, that it could go up to 6 feet, but because it's on a corner and it's abutting the street, so it's right next to the street, that still has to be 5 feet. So that was another permit, a little while ago that somebody was confused about.
Why is 5 feet a good height?
So that was just what our design standards were when we rewrote the ordinance in 2018. So, we've already had multiple, parcels within the town, conform to that and do their fences based on that, so we're just keeping that for consistency, and so there's not a lot of non-conformities if we change it.
Thank you.
So what happens if somebody has a fence on a corner lot that's already 6 feet,
So
that they put in the last, say, few years?
So they wouldn't have been allowed to do that because we didn't change anything. So this is all the same, like the rules are all the same. We're just clarifying the wording of them. So they shouldn't have been
I think,
putting in a
I
fence.
know at least our HOA has that in there too, so I don't know if the HOAs would govern that also, in the subdivision.
No, not on the side street. Like if you're in a corner, there's
Oh, okay.
a lot of people that have 6-foot fences along the side of the street. But I'm thinking most of them were before 2018,
That might have been. what it
because I'm pretty sure that, I know one wasn't. I know one was just a few, like 2 or 3 years ago.
So like a stockade 6 foot
Huh?
or chain link, was that a stockade?
Oh, no, it's a, white vinyl fence
Okay.
that's 6 feet tall. Because they have a swimming pool in the backyard.
Okay,
And there's a main street going down the side up
Mhm.
there.
right.
You're on a corner.
I'm not sure. That one, I don't know if they got a permit for it or not. I would have to see what the
Maybe not.
what lot it is.
Probably not.
You know, what is the penalty for non-compliance?
Yeah, that's.
Our code enforcement officer would take that, and we did have one law a little while ago that did a fence too high, and they just cut it to 5 feet. So that's how they came into compliance. If not, they receive fines.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's crazy, because I do know several. I will not tell you where they are. Torture me to tell them.
Enforcer?
Yeah, on their eye. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. For some reason I did, but I didn't. I didn't even think about it.
Forgive me for being late, but, what's the downside of the fences above 5 feet? I understand what zoning is, but what's the concern? Is it safety or?
So the 5 feet was just what we had in 2018 for the design standards that we had. Just because it's along the street, it could be for safety for emergency services, but that was just our design standard in 2018. So we're sticking to that, so it doesn't create a lot of non-conformities for people who have already built to those standards.
Any other questions?
No.
Motion?
Make a motion that we, approve text amendment, TX 25.10.01. And that we find it, reasonable and consistent with our, planning documents.
Have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 4, proposed streetscape addendum.
Okay.
Staff proposes an amendment to Stallings streetscape plan to simplify and clarify existing standards by reducing the number of design options and variations.
Okay, so we have this is not a text amendment yet, this is just a proposed addendum, so we'd like to hear your feedback on it. and we're gonna bring it to council for their feedback as well. And then we're gonna bring forward a full text amendment to amend this within the ordinance. We have currently two new developments coming through in town center. One of them you've seen already, Pleasant Plains 1. In both of those developments, after review, we've seen that the existing streetscape designs that we do have were difficult to achieve in practice. And there was a lot of different variations of streetscape. So we've decided to reduce those from, like, there's 4 currently in each main type. We've reduced them to 2 within each main type for greenway, typical, and narrow. So, I'll go to the addendum. We've also added a map which shows the location of what type of streetscape is identified for each parcel. So these blue area or purple areas are the typical streetscape design. The green areas are the greenway streetscape design, and anything that's in orange will be the narrow streetscape design. So any streets that are interior, that aren't those main thoroughfares, that would be narrow. So including any new roads that would be added in the back of here. So our 3 sections are the greenway corridor, the typical corridor, and the narrow corridor. Within each of those, we've reduced them to 2, so against a building and not against a building for all 3 of those. For the greenway against a building, we have the paver strip, which is against the street, then the multi-use path, and then the additional pedestrian zone for a total width of 16 feet to 26 feet. Then not against a building, we've taken away the additional pedestrian zone in the back, and we have the paver strip and the multi-use path for a total width of 16 to 22 feet. In the typical corridor, we have the same thing, the paver strip, multi-use path, and the additional pedestrian zone. Those for a total of 14 feet to 22 feet. And then for not against a building, the total width will be 14 to 18 feet without that additional pedestrian zone as well. Moving to the narrow corridor, there's paver strip, multi-use path, and the additional pedestrian zone for a total width of 8 to 14 feet. And then not against a building, a total width of 8 to 12 feet without that additional pedestrian zone. So we've reduced the number of types in each of those main sub-main types, and also reduced some of the widths a little bit.
Bridge, how will this affect like projects that have already been approved but not yet started?
So we only have 2
Okay.
current projects that are going through the conditional zoning, which is Pleasant Plains 1 and Pleasant Plains 2. Both of those follow the Pleasant Plains 1, let me just check, make sure I'm not saying it wrong. Pleasant Plains 1 follows typical and Pleasant Plains 2 follows greenway. And those widths are the same widths they're proposing in their conditional zoning.
Can you go back up to the map?
Sure.
And so we've got the purple on one side of the road and
Mhm.
green on the other. What differentiates those two?
So in the Greenway Master Plan, what's outlined as their main greenway or spines of the greenway that they've done, though that would be the greenway streetscape. Anything that's not greenway streetscape but on a main road is the typical. So we identified that based on the greenway plan that was already in place.
So it seems like this is a simplification for everybody's
Yes.
sake of what's happening.
Yes.
Similar to the question about the pools and fences, like
Mhm.
what led to this?
So again, the 2 conditional zonings that went through, when they came with their site plans, we saw that in practice, the large amount of types that they could do and the larger widths were not quite practical for the area that we have, and for just the size of some of the parcels, it's just not quite attainable to do. So we've decided to make them a little smaller.
If I recall, I think it was at a council meeting, I don't remember who it was, but someone working on behalf of one of those projects was talking about that, like what you just said about the wider the sidewalk is, almost it makes you feel like you're not there in that area by the building. Can you kind of take us behind the scenes of like what those conversations for staff were like in terms of coming to this conclusion?
I know that we had conversations about how large they could make it while also having a product that is viable for the town center and for the community. And I know that the original widths for, I have it right here, the original widths for the Greenway against a building, which would be that Pleasant Plains right here, was 30 to 38 feet, which is a very large.
And we're down to what size now with this proposal?
For the Greenway against a building, 16 to 26 feet.
Yeah.
So it's just more attainable for them and able to make it a little bit better and easier for developers to come in and actually build up the town center that we want.
Rich, talk about your research going to downtowns and
Oh, yes. We also went to Waxhaw, Matthews, and Mint Hill and measured those, their downtown areas. Obviously Waxhaw and Matthews and them, they're a little bit older than us, but theirs were also significantly smaller than ours as well. And it was still a large enough feeling sidewalk to be able to bike on and walk on. I mean, me and Katie were there one time when we were in Matthews on that sidewalk and there was a biker coming with us, walking with us. So there was enough room with this, with these widths. So scaling them down seemed just more in tune with what we could make our downtown and similar to surrounding downtowns, similar to size too.
Just for the purposes of envisioning it in my own head of like, when you were in Matthews, I'm assuming you were on Trade Street, or were you somewhere else?
yeah, they were.
Okay,
Yes.
where all the restaurants
Yes.
are.
Yes.
Okay, so you measured where to where, like curb to building?
Curb to building.
Cause
Okay.
they are, but theirs are all the way out
Mm-hmm.
to the curb with no, I mean, it's easy. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, there's like that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Show the spray paint
Oh,
pictures again.
These little photos that you have on there, that's out on the park. It
Yeah.
kind of shows where it would be. So this first line right here, that would be your multi-use path. So that first strip would end kind of where the sidewalk is, and then the multi-use path would come all the way down here. And then this would be your like additional pedestrian zone. And that's similar again to what we saw in Matthews and Waxhaw.
In that reduction of 38 to 26 feet, can you show us where that 12 feet comes from? Does it come equally from each strip, or does it come from just the pathway?
Let me look to see what's this one. It's, a lot of it is the multi-use path was reduced and the paver strip, so, and that additional pedestrian zone. So originally, if we look at the Greenway against a building, this additional pedestrian zone right here was another 10 feet. So that was reduced to lower. This one was originally fully 14 feet, and this one was originally just 6 feet. So we gave it a little bit more wiggle room for these two, and then reduced the additional pedestrian zone.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you, do you know what the DOT is gonna do to,
Old Monroe.
yeah, this side of Old Monroe?
So
The,
if we look up here, on the side of the gas station, that
Yeah.
will be typical, so that will just be a smaller,
yeah,
and then their greenway will be on the other side, so that would be the little bit larger piece.
okay,
And
and
then
this,
on top it kind of flips.
cause I know they've already put in part of it down, all the
Yeah,
way down.
all the way down here, yeah.
Yeah, and I wondered if they were going to,
Put in the concrete pad, not the pavers.
Yeah, they're putting in the concrete.
they are with pavers, I mean,
No
the-
pavers.
no pavers, just concrete.
Yeah.
Do we know if the intersection is gonna be a non-through intersection? on Stallings,
Oh, what, I'm sorry?
not through, in other words, you're coming Potter, instead of going straight to Stallings, you gotta turn right and make a U-turn. Come back.
Yes,
I
yes.
think it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, everything's a right turn, I believe.
Cause right here, I think is the.
It's like a
there's
figure
just
eight
figure
or a
eight.
butterfly loop. I don't know exactly the terminology. I think it's they're really putting a figure eight
Figure eight,
right in
yeah.
the middle of that.
Do we know if the U-turn is gonna have a light?
And they do have some with the lights. I just don't know exactly about the
Okay.
specific area.
It's coming up Monroe on a U-turn in rush hour, is gonna be like
Well, you'll have
crazy.
2 lanes too. I mean, not that that helps, but
Yeah.
I'm just
It's
saying.
still, it's
You'll
still,
have 2 lanes of people
Yeah.
coming at you that you can't get across.
been
Do it
enough on
just
74 doing that, March, I just,
That'll be a future improvement.
yeah, really,
After they're done with this, they'll improve it
yeah.
10 years from now.
10 years, okay, thank you.
Bridge, in other towns that you've looked at, was the same strategy used where it was built piecemeal by developers over years, or did the town go in and build the whole thing at once?
I think some of it was piecemealed. I'm not exactly sure, but from what it looks like, it does kind of look like they piecemealed it in by development by parcel.
Seems like it could take a long time to get it done
Yeah.
and looking nice consistently,
Mhm.
you know, on long stretches.
Yeah, it's a very long-term
Yeah.
vision.
Yeah.
This is not a factual question, but more just an introspective one. But like, as you went in and said, okay, here's what the current Stallings standards are, you measured and found, oh, other municipalities have much smaller streetscape and it works fine. What were, as professionals in this area, for you and Katie, like what were your reactions to seeing that other towns work with smaller spaces?
It kind of just seemed like the larger one that we had was just too much. Especially we also measured that one out based on what it would look like in front of the park and in front of this building as well, and it was way too much. It was just too much sidewalk. So I think when we went to the other municipalities and seeing that you can still walk really nicely, you can also like walk in, somebody can be biking next to you and it's not like very cramped. It seemed like a good amount of space to have, the amounts that we came up with.
Has any of the feedback from developers been related to parking on this, of like on-street curbside parking, of that there would be more space for that? It may not have come up, I don't know, but.
I don't think so. I haven't
No,
heard
NCDOT owns most of the roads, and they will not allow parallel parking. We still have it as an option in our plan. If someone was to take over that street, the town likely could not do something that take over the street on a busy thoroughfare like that. The Stallings could not. So I don't see parallel parking ever happening on those main thoroughfares, maybe within the internal streets. But we have discussed it, and it's just something that NCDOT just won't accept.
Any other questions? Have a motion?
Could you clarify what you're requesting of the board?
Yes, just a recommendation if you guys have any additions you want added, as far as when we bring the text amendment through, if you have anything you want added to that, or just a recommendation to show this to council and ask for their recommendations as well.
Could you scroll down to the 2 options again real quick, just
Sure.
one last look at 'em?
Yeah, there's the greenway, typical, and narrow. Your greenway and typical, those are along the main thoroughfares, so your main roads. Narrow is any secondary or interior roads.
More questions?
No, I'll make a motion to approve this request as presented, to proceed to bring it to council for their review.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Since this isn't a text amendment, do we still have to do a statement of consistency?
No.
Okay.
Have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.